Comedy podcast where I, Amy Brown, ask interesting and funny people what they're nerdy for. I am in a mood today, and I have a fun friend in my costume chamber. I am very silly today, and it's probably because of my top. I'll talk about that in a second. But we have Jason Hulsey. Did I do it right?
Nailed it. Yeah.
Nailed it. Because I call him Hughesly in my brain.
Everybody switches up L's and the S's. It's bizarre. I don't know what it is. But,
you have a silly name, and I'm sorry that God gave you that to you. Is it because you're from rural Georgia?
At some point in like the 1700s, the Hulseys came down out of the Appalachians and started banging like rabbits. They're all over like northeast Georgia.
So they were sexy and or fast.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
The 1700s. And
Fruitful.
Okay, I'm going to do my mid-Atlantic accent. So your people are from the mountains, and they came down.
Yep.
And they hopped on the good foot and did the bad thing and made a bunch of relatives. Have you ever kissed a cousin?
No.
Oh, I should say really quick. Jason is a comedian, and he's very funny. How long have you been doing comedy? And he lives in Atlanta now.
About 4.5 years.
4.5 years? I'll allow it. Okay. You can
5.
be that funny after 4.5 years. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all.
I appreciate it.
You're on one today.
I know.
Maybe 2.
We just started. Like sometimes this is like Amy, because we always record back to back. Sometimes this is like Amy during the second recording, but no, this is rare form.
I had 2 coffees and a good night's sleep last night, and I'm on fire. And I'm also wearing a convertible top. It has I can have it be on my shoulders, or I can have it look like it's Sophia Loren off the shoulder top. And I have a imaginary part of my body. What's that called? Oh, multiple personality disorder, where I am a Latina woman. And or Sophia Loren, like just a Latin yummy mix, Italian, and I somehow know how to cook, and I can squeeze lemons and limes, and it doesn't make my eczema and get real upset. Like, this is a fantasy I have, and so I think this top is making me feel pretty crazy. Do you have a special top that makes you feel jazzercised inside, Jason?
Yeah, same one.
Do you
throw it on? Yeah. Have multiple personalities. One of them's a Latina.
Calientes.
Yeah, much better ass than mine.
A much better ass than yours?
Yeah.
We got him turned up, right? He's got a soft voice. So you're my favorite serial killer friend. And I say that with love. You do have...
Good intro.
I know, he's got like this soft energy, and you keep it soft on stage, too. And then you say wild stuff.
Yeah. I used to say a lot more wild stuff than I do lately. But yeah.
What are you talking about now these days?
More goofier stuff, a little more personal, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say.
You're opening up. You're flowering.
I'm still saying some wild stuff.
How old are you?
37. Yeah.
37. It looked like you had to call your cousin for a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big number.
I'm 10 years older than you. Mm-hmm. So I'm the boss of you.
Good luck.
Because I know you're tall.
Yeah.
What? I can't put him in a headlock.
What is the theme of this podcast?
I don't know.
It's just seeing what kind of Amy we get for each day, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
We're getting to know you better. We're also checking in on society. And then at the end, I'm going to find out what kind of nerd you are.
Yeah.
Glad you watched my episodes. It's cool.
I thought about watching some, but I was like, I'm just going to come in fresh and maybe we'll get something out of that.
Was it Carte Blanche?
Yeah.
What?
It's something like tabla rosa, blank slate in Latin. Google it. Blank slate, tabla rasa. It was on Dharma and Greg. Yeah, it's just a blank slate, so you could come in with fresh energy.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Look, I'm fancy.
What's the word?
It's I already closed it. I mean, I don't know how to say it, but
it's like Latin.
TABULARASA.
Rasa.
Yeah.
Blank slate.
La Raza. back to the Latin. Yeah.
This might be the weirdest intro we've ever had.
Do you think
this
so?
Is,
I hope so. Let's just have fun.
Yeah,
Who
the
cares?
theme of this is Amy invites people over to her costume closet so she can talk to them for an hour.
I'm very lonely.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know
It's a
this.
pretty good gamut.
Yeah.
Stay-at-home moms are very lonely. We're just home all day. My son's asleep right now. He doesn't need me.
He sleeps a lot.
He does. He might have a problem.
How old's your son?
Almost 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might be a little sleeping going on in there.
Oh.
Just kidding. Just kidding. But we know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Wink. He has an alter ego too. No, he doesn't. I was gonna make a dirty joke.
I was like, yeah, how far are we gonna go with
I'm
this
not gonna
masturbation son joke
I'm not
here,
gonna
Amy?
riff on my son.
No.
My son jerks off all the time. There we go. There's your new bit.
How much does he?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I'm sure he's pious.
He's a normal
How you feeling about the show
he's a-
so far, Jason?
It's fun.
He's a normal red-blooded American, okay? And he can do what he wants in the privacy of his own chamber as long as he doesn't put it on the internet. And look, I'm in my chamber
Yeah.
putting it on the internet, so who's the bad guy
Well,
here?
you're of legal age, so he would get y'all flagged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stream it.
That
Yeah.
makes sense that you shouldn't do naughties on the internet unless you're of the proper age.
Yeah, that's called the law.
Oh, we don't want to break the law unless it's prohibition, because then they can suck it.
Didn't we? I'm not going to bring up what I did. Let's just move on.
Oh.
I was just going to say, what were we talking about for the first 10 minutes of Keegan's episode? And now we're already back towards it.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's move on.
We keep hitting on these darker topics. Okay, so you grew up in the forest with your cousins. You have a great joke about a shed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I grew up in a house. Yeah,
Okay.
We had a house. So that was nice.
I feel like I squirreled you out of a corn maze and brought you into my costume chamber to talk at you.
Yeah.
Do you know a lot about corn? Let's go. You're a carpenter.
No.
You're Jesus energy. Do you have sandals? How long are your toenails?
Not long. I trimmed them. You want to ask me what kind of nerd I was? I thought coming in that it was like you ask somebody what they know a lot about.
Oh, yeah.
Is that kind of what it is?
We can talk about that. Is it interesting? What do you know a lot
Sure.
about?
Well, I kind of just picked because it's called what's it? Nerd for what?
Nerdy for.
Nerdy for.
That is the premise of the show that we've kind of gone away from.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you have something that you're...
Yeah.
Okay. So it's more like a kind of just a free form, loosey goosey. I was gonna pick hiking, backpacking.
You are wearing a shirt that says
Right.
Blood
I wore my Blood
Mountain,
Mountain hoodie.
Appalachian Trail, and you do have a joke about murdering people in a shack, and now you have a Blood Mountain shirt. That tracks. That's on brand.
Yeah.
Is this merch or is there actually a Blood Mountain?
There's actually a Blood Mountain. I actually lived there for 8 years.
Okay.
I lived there on the Appalachian Trail,
Wow.
managing a backpacking outfitter and a hiker hostel.
Oh, did you meet Sally Brooks while you were there?
And what year did you... I've talked about someone about her recently. What year did she through hike? Do you know?
I don't know, but she just wrote a book about hiking the Appalachian Trail and meeting her husband on there. You could have been her husband.
Yeah, if she came through anywhere from 2012 to 2018.
I don't know her life like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably earlier.
I'm actually
She's
going on
my
their
age.
podcast, and we're going to talk about it.
Oh, fantastic.
But we can burn it all here. There won't be any
I don't think there's a lot of crossover. Not yet. We're not all famous.
But I just picked
Yeah,
the one
hiking
thing
is
that I know
so
a lot
cool.
about because I did that for 8 years. I hiked the Appalachian Trail.
Have you ever hiked so much a toenail fell off?
No, but I've seen that.
Oh.
I've seen a lot of that. I used to sell shoes to all the people who had the wrong size shoes.
Too tight, your nail comes off, or too loose, and your
tight.
too
Yeah.
tight, and your nail comes off. You
So
heard
I
it
saw
here
a lot of
first.
foot trauma. It was like a hardcore Al Bundy, like
Oh God! Oh yeah, he sold shoes.
sold
I
shoes,
forgot
yeah.
about that.
he sold lady shoes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I've seen the worst.
Peg.
Yeah.
You've seen the worst toe stitch because the people don't stop; they keep going.
Seen some gnarly hooves. Yeah.
Some gnarly hooves. Have you? There's a long distance run, Scar. Have you heard of that?
It kind of rings a bell.
Like 58 miles in a day through the Smokies.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband did it. And then he laid down on the road and he couldn't get up, and it was nighttime. And it wasn't like, oh, we're all doing this together and there's volunteers and water. You just get a couple buddies and you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the last really long distance thing he did.
Yeah, that stuff can
And then he came back and his leg was swelling and it was COVID, and he went to the hospital and they put him in the COVID ward, and we don't know why. And I wasn't allowed to visit him, and they were giving, like at the hospital, they give you tiny food because everyone in America is fat except for my husband, who had just run 58 miles in one day, and he was starving. And the nurse had to go and take pity on him and go to the place where you put money in, and it's not a trailer, and money in, and food comes out.
You mean a vending machine?
A vending machine. And
that's how rich she is.
A vending machine, and get little, Crustables, and just give them
Uncrustables.
Uncrustables.
Yeah.
I don't eat those either. And eat a bunch of those to try to like make up for his calorie deficit.
Yeah. That can happen to you. That happened to me in Pennsylvania. I was hiking and started passing out.
Okay. How does that feel? Like, how do you know when you're hiking that you pushed it too much? How many beers had you had the night before? Were you dehydrated?
Not a lot.
Were you on your period?
I was very dehydrated. There was very limited water in that area. Oh. And I didn't carry enough from the last cache of water and ran out. And I was also severely malnourished.
Why were you malnourished? Did your cousins forget to feed you?
So in Pennsylvania, I just hiked from Georgia about 800 miles.
Oh my gosh.
So
how many days?
That is through hiking
800.
The Appalachian Trail.
800 miles.
Yeah.
How are your toes?
They're fine.
How long did it take you to go 800 miles of the Appalachian Trail?
Well, the whole trail is 2,200 miles, and that took me 7 months, 10 days.
You did the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay, this is fascinating. You are already not real chatty. I'm going to put that out there.
You're kind of...
Is it because I'm talking too fast and you don't get a chance to talk and you're too polite to interrupt me?
That's probably it.
You can palm my face. Yeah. I give you permission. Okay, 200 and... So you're on... So 7 months of hiking. Were you by yourself?
No, you meet people along the way.
But you started by yourself.
Most people start by themselves. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a lot of alone time. Or was it not?
Not really. You know, in the first couple of weeks, you crew up with people that are kind of going a similar pace as you.
Oh, cool. That sounds like a very fun adventure.
It is. It's very fun.
How do you get 7 months free? Is it on purpose or an accident?
This one was kind of on accident. I was 21 years old. I was on academic probation.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's, not making, kind of messing up in college, slacking off.
Sounds like you had a good time.
I had a lot of fun. And they tell you to kick rocks for a couple of semesters, come back and
get your life together.
Get your shit together. So I just chose to spend that time hiking the Appalachian Trail.
That's wonderful. Did your family support this? Like, go walk. They have a walkabout in Australia. Mm-hmm. You did a walkabout in the Appalachian area.
Yep. That's basically the idea, and it's very fun.
Was it fun?
Yeah, you learn a lot.
What'd you learn? This is before. Did you have Google? Could you hear a bird with their phone app and figure out the bird, and then take a picture of a leaf and figure out the name of the trees?
Didn't have a smartphone on this trip. No.
Did you have a smart friend?
Not really. They were fun people. Yeah, I did the most. The most I did of the trail I did with one person was this guy named Mule, and he was a great
M-U-L-E. Mule.
That was his trail name.
What was your trail name?
Freestyle.
Okay.
It's pretty goofy. There's some goofy shit. Yeah.
But, so Mule knew stuff about nature?
Mule knew a lot about the Wu-Tang Clan. And that's what we clicked on was our love of Wu-Tang Clan and weed.
Okay.
So yeah.
Was Mule a drug mule?
No. They called him that because he carried too much shit.
Oh.
Yeah. And he did. He would carry all kind of unnecessary shit. His pack probably weighed too much.
I feel like he had like pans and like metal cups dangling off of his backpack as he walked, like
sort of
the sidekick in Don Juan Quixote. That's a weird reference. Anyone from the 1940s?
Yeah, he was a character. We had a lot of fun times.
So you learned about the Wu-Tang Clan. Did you learn, like, could you tell from, like, a tree? Why are you laughing at me, Joel?
The Wu-Tang Clan?
Could you tell from a tree if it's like, oh, the moss is growing on the north side. That means we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, you see stuff like that. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So, what side of the tree does the moss grow on? I just made that up.
I think it is the north side, yeah.
Oh, is it like the North Star?
I don't know about the moss thing, but there's all kind of...
You just making shit up now?
You are.
You are. I'm looking for verification for stuff I make up. You're going along with it too easily. I'm leading the witness. My husband doesn't go along with anything I say because he knows it's all BS. Did you?
So, like, for the first, 2 months of the trail, I didn't have a watch. And I wanted to see what it'd be like to forget the concept of
time.
Numbered time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
this is like
just completely abandon it. So
on Golden Pond, this is
for the longest, for 2 months, I was on what I call bird time.
Yeah, they wake
is
up
where you start paying attention, like which bird is chirping, like before the sun comes up, and you know, okay, the sun's gonna be up in about 30 minutes. I should get.
They get
up
real
and start.
sassy right before the sun rises. I don't know what they're saying. I think that like everyone wake up. It's time to eat worms or something. Yeah. They get so loud. Okay, and then what happens? What's the nighttime bird? Can I guess it's an owl? I was outside last night and I heard an owl.
Well, you go to bed at all different hours, but yeah.
Oh, because you're partying?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you pass out right when the sun goes down. Sometimes you stay up with people.
Do you make a fire?
Sometimes.
Did you hook up? Did you hook up with Mule?
People do. I did not get laid one time the whole trip.
That's honorable. You should make a T-shirt. I hiked 2,200 miles over 7 months, and I did not get laid the whole time.
And all they gave me,
and all I got was this dumb T-shirt.
Dumb T-shirt.
Yeah. It's hard to wash off afterwards, I would imagine.
Yeah. Most people carry, a big fat stack of wet ones if you're going to be doing that in the wilderness. But
I don't have any experience. I got something from a bucket list, I guess.
What, to go bang in the woods and be dirty afterwards?
I guess so. Can you bring your bidet? I'm so confused.
No.
How long do you think you would last on the trail, Amy?
That's a great question. I do walk the line of mental illness. So I think I could just boop over into voices in the head, talking to myself, not caring about stuff. I do get mean when I'm hungry. That would be the one thing.
Dead in a week is what she's saying.
A lot of hunger. You do go bush crazy, which can be fun.
What's bush crazy? I thought you said you didn't hook up.
No,
that was a great joke. Sorry.
The good kind of bush crazy is when like everything just becomes really funny all of a sudden.
Oh, punch drunk. That's probably being tired, maybe.
Yeah, I'm tired and malnourished and kind of just.
Did you lose a lot of weight? Why are you Why are you malnourished?
Well, you hike at least 20, 25 miles a day.
That's a lot.
And when you do that, your body just consumes all the calories.
You can start having
all the fat, all the
kidney problems from that.
You do, yeah.
Was your urine brown? That's why my husband had to go to the hospital after his big run.
Yeah, that's an extreme version. It kind of happens slowly, but
renal failure.
Yeah. You start to smell a certain way, and it's from your organs failing. It's very bizarre.
You know what? Okay. Just when I thought you couldn't get creepier. You know what it smells like when your organs. What does it smell like? This is fun. I feel like this is getting gothic. This is very Wednesday Addams energy. I'm on board for this. Okay. What does it smell like when your organs fail?
It's like just a certain kind of BO. It's bizarre. And it's much more, all your clothes are saturated with it because no matter how much you wash them along the way, you just sweat in them so much. And you only have like two, maybe 3 outfits at most.
Yeah, you have to carry it on your back.
Yeah, through hikers smell horrible. They could knock a vulture off a gut wagon. It just smells terrible.
Wait, hold on.
And you can smell them from...
Sorry, knock a vulture off a...
gut wagon.
What's a gut wagon?
A wagon full of discarded guts, I guess. It's just an expression. You ain't never heard that?
Can you please Google that, sir?
I'm sure it's
knock a vulture off, because Aaron Odom came in with some sayings that we figured out were just from his family members. They weren't actually fair trade out there in the world.
Right.
No, this is people have said this. Gut wagon or shit wagon.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's buzzard instead of vulture, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna put that in my vernacular. That's going in the hopper.
Right.
Knock a vulture off a gut wagon.
I like buzzard.
Buzzard.
That's a little. If you're gonna go southern, say buzzard.
Hard
if
Z.
you're gonna put an accent
buzzard.
on it, say yeah.
Knock a buzzard off a gut wagon.
Yeah, that's nice.
I do declare. So they smell terrible. And they can't wash. I mean, if they're not like using hot water to wash their clothes too, there is a certain point where you can't, like, you have to boil the clothes to get all, like, you're just sweat, and the grease of humans is just like the grease that when you're cooking. It's hard to get out of things.
Yeah, I mean, you can get access to a washing machine or soap and water to hand wash, once every other week or so, and you do your best.
Is there a secret society of people who have hiked the Appalachian Trail? Like, you guys secretly have like a lodge in the woods somewhere, and you get together, and it's like the glitterati but smellier and more facial hair.
No, not really. There's it's a big community of people.
Is there a Facebook group?
Yeah.
Are you on it?
No, at the time.
But you're such a team player.
At the time, I did not use social media in any capacity. I didn't get Facebook until like a couple of years ago.
You want to stay off the grid.
I just got Instagram like 6 months ago or something.
Well, yeah, you want to get booked and sell tickets, do you? Because I think you should. You're very good at comedy, sir.
Thank you. I just hate it, but yeah.
Well, of course, we all hate it. But you got to pay the piper. You've hiked 22,000 miles in 7 months and smelled your organs failing. You can do Instagram. I believe in you. You can like and subscribe, make a story, make a link, make a hashtag, make a collaborator. Let's go. I'll help you.
I'm working on it.
I don't feel like you're working or you're going to work on it. That's okay. People, some people want to find the talent and dig through the earth and the secret talent, the talent hiding in the shed.
Yeah. They're out there somewhere.
Do you want to do the Appalachian Trail again?
Yeah, I'd do it again.
You do it again?
I'd do it again if I had the money and the time, yeah.
Do you liked it that much? Are you having, so there's 3 different kinds of fun, I'm told. There's fun you're having, and you're enjoying it while you're having it. That's type 1 fun. Type 2 fun is you do not enjoy it, but the moment you're done, you're like, that was great. Mm-hmm. That's usually like a run on a treadmill. Mm-hmm. And there's type 3 fun. You don't enjoy it. Afterwards, you hate it even more. But like 6 months later, you're like, that was okay. That's like childbirth or something like that.
Right.
Is that what the Appalachian Trail is like? Are you putting a rose-colored glass on it?
No, when you're doing it, you're having fun.
You're having fun?
Yeah. And if you're not, you shouldn't be out there. And you meet a lot of people that hate it.
Are miserable the whole time.
But they want to do it so they can say that they did it.
Yeah.
And then you'll see them and you're like, dude, you don't even like backpacking. Yeah.
There's a lot of people in law school like that.
You should go home. And, but they want to do it because they look at it like being able to say like you climbed Mount Everest or something.
It's a feather for the cap.
Which is an accomplishment. You to go do that takes a couple of weeks. But to spend half a year doing something so you could say you did it, which is what I did as soon as I sat down here. But I was just looking for something to talk about because that's what I thought the show was.
To your credit, did not know you did the Appalachian Trail. You're not walking into every room like, I did the Appalachian Trail,
Right,
and my name is Jason.
If it comes up, I love talking about it. But yeah, it's.
Yeah, no, you can talk. I really.
And I spent like a huge chunk of my life in that industry. So
Afterwards,
I know a lot
you
about
had
it.
skill sets. You had street cred, is what you did. It's like you were an Olympic skier, and now you're selling skis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to everyone, taping everyone's toenails back on.
Mm-hmm.
Hot glue. So, did you see a bear? Did you
Yeah,
ever
I saw
fear?
lots of bears.
Did you fear for your life? Black bears are friendlier than the grizzlies.
Yeah, they're not too bad.
We don't have grizzlies on the East Coast.
Thankfully, yeah.
Only in the gay community.
Black bears. I got pinned in a shelter by a black bear one time. It was like a four-walled,
Ooh,
like little shed
it's a good thing you had a shed.
type scenario, and it had like a screen door on it. And I was there by myself, and I started making breakfast one morning.
Oh.
And the bear walks up, and he started coming in the door like he was gonna eat breakfast with me, and I just held it back, and I latched a little metal hook, and he was just like, "Come on, man, it's breakfast time." And then he just sat there, and we both sat there looking at each other for probably about 2 hours.
Oh
Did
God.
you give him any food?
No, somebody had probably been
Feeding him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's why he showed up. And then I yelled at him a lot. He just sat there, so I just sat there.
Wow.
I had
Did he
nowhere to
smell?
go.
Did he smell worse than you?
Yeah, they got a stink to them. Sometimes you can smell them before you see them,
What does it smell like?
like a sweaty animal, like a petting zoo kind of,
Oh, okay.
like petting zoo-y smell. Funny story. My uncle can smell snakes before he sees them. But
Okay.
that's a side note. But
No, this is amazing. He can smell a snake before he sees it.
So the thing about smelling stuff when you're hiking that long, you get your nose gets
Acclimated?
acclimated, and because there's so many smells like in a town or in a mall that your brain just learns to ignore. Mm-hmm. But when you're out there, sometimes you'll smell like we call them showering people. You'll smell them like
The fabric
an
Yeah.
hour before you see them.
fabric softener.
They'll be
my nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's some showering people coming. Maybe they got candy.
You're the bear now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you bring me breakfast?
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch you until you give me my breakfast. There's all these smells in the forest, and I wonder what they are. I wish there was an app for that. There we go. This is how we're gonna make our next fortune, or our first.
An app about smells?
Yes, right. Like I was in the forest recently, and it smelled so much like evergreen. I was like, it's ridiculous. It smells like I'm in a cab, and it's like the fake thing.
Do you mean the smell of a certain tree that could be around?
Or a sapling.
Wild that was all over
Or
the
it comes
forest.
off the pine cone, but it was like too much. It was like, this is
Yeah.
ridiculous nature.
The woods. The damn woods smell like trees.
You're so...
It was in Atlanta, and I was like, there has to be someone doing laundry around here with like a pine's flat flavor or something. Like, this seemed so not natural. Because there's flowers that do smells. This is a weird conversation. Did you do tracking? I know there's like deer poop. Fox poop is the worst. Have you smelled fox poop? Oh, have you have a dog roll
I've
in it?
seen it. Never really got close enough to smell it. But.
Did you ever have a cat die by the wood pile at your farm, and every time you went to replenish the wood, it smelled like dead animal?
That's so specific.
Very specific, yeah.
Have you had that? Did you
Yeah,
smell
did
dead
you grow
animals?
up in Amy's life as well?
Did you find a dead body when you were walking?
No.
How Lost Boys is this?
Somebody did find a dead body that year. I think.
They really?
Yeah. There were a couple of murders that year.
Why are people murdering? Is it because of the smell and they can't take it anymore? Oh my gosh.
I was thinking about that on the way here. There's an interesting story. Me and Mule
Yeah. Okay.
So
good old mule.
were
Overstuffed backpack.
yep,
And your weed and your music.
We go into a town to get some supplies, and there's this guy at the post office, and he calls us over, and he warns us about this guy that just left one of these towns ahead of us, who had been convicted of murder 10 years earlier.
Oh, this is great because this is a small town.
Yeah.
So clearly it's getting through the grapevine. So that means before you got there, 3 to 35 old people had coffee and did like the chain of.
Yep.
It's like World War II in France. We're getting all of the intel, but through old people and coffee. And okay, continue. Sorry to interrupt.
No, so he had been tried for murder, and everybody kind of knew he did it. He had killed 2 people on the Appalachian Trail, okay? And everybody kind of knew he did it, but somehow the way the case ended up, state's evidence wasn't good enough to fully convict him, but they got him on some other thing. I don't know what it was. It was
Tax evasion.
It was like perjury or like bringing a head across state lines or something.
I
don't know what it was.
Oh, that has to go in check luggage, not carry on.
Right.
Oh my gosh. A
But
head.
he
Jesus.
served some kind of sentence, and the last part of that sentence was him on house arrest in this town up ahead of us. So anyway, he gets off house arrest. His sentence is all done. Then they shut the power off in his house because he couldn't pay his bills or something.
Yeah.
So everybody sees him pack up with a pack and walk out of town onto the Appalachian Trail. So the whole, small town people are like, he's going to do it again.
Yeah, call your cousin the next town over, warn everybody there, and that cousin calls the next cousin, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so they warn us about this guy. And then we start seeing these flyers on all the trees that say, missing. And it's got his face on it. But it's not missing, usually if it's a good missing that's got their prom picture. It's a good picture of him. But this is just a mugshot of him from the earlier murders. So we're like, this is not good.
Well, that's a good way to keep people spry. If you're putting someone's mugshot, if you're trying to let people know there's danger in town, put a mugshot up.
Yeah. So we crewed up.
Do you have a mugshot?
I have some mugshots from my teens, yeah.
Oh. Okay, talk about this first, and then we'll do that later.
But yeah. So the guy. I'm gonna tell this as suspenseful as possible. So me and Mule.
Get it exciting.
One day we're gonna. Before this, we go to Walmart, and I buy a giant hunting knife. I'm like, if this fucker wants to bring it, I'm gonna bring it too. When somebody tells you there's a murderer, you maybe get ready a little bit at least. So I've got this big hunting knife, and Mule, he would hike with this big wooden staff. So we're walking along, and we make a plan. If we see the guy and he comes at us, the plan was Mule was going to try to, stun him with the stick, and then I would come in and finish him off, And but the funny thing is, you're kind of bush crazy when you're making a murder plan with a guy named Mule. So I remember stepping back for myself, am I crazy? Or do we really need to be making a murder plan?
Are you going to wait for him to attack you, or are you just going to murder everyone who comes along the trail
Well,
at
that's
this
the
point?
thing.
How far have you taken it emotionally?
That's the thing about the mugshot. It's just a scruffy guy with a beard, and that's
Everybody.
other person you come
Everybody.
across. So we were going to wait for him to make a move, pretty much, but so we got this whole plan together.
If he's a good serial killer, he'd romance you first.
Right. He actually does that later in the story. So.
Oh gosh.
So we make our murder plan. We're hiking along, and then one day we're going to camp at this place. It was called Dismal Creek, right?
Charming.
And that was my first thought. I was like, I was like, Mule, I don't know if I want to camp at a place called Dismal Creek. And it was also by the road, which you don't want to do because people tend to mess with you more when they see a lone traveler by the road.
Oh, really?
So you want to hike up into the mountain,
I'm so naive. I would be like,
you think it would be safer by the road.
The lights are going to keep you up, and you're going to hear the sound, and it's not going to be romantic.
Well, no, it was by a dirt road.
Oh, okay.
There's balance to it, but you'd think by the road would be safer, but it's not.
That's
anyway,
fascinating.
So we say, okay, let's don't camp here. We go on down the trail a little bit. We didn't camp there. And then we find out, a couple of days later, that it was 24 hours after, roughly, a day later, after we were there at Dismal Creek.
Oh.
The guy tried to kill 2 fishermen.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so
and
we
they didn't
missed
have
him.
they didn't have a plan.
They didn't, and they didn't know about him either.
Oh my God!
Because they hadn't been hiking on the trail for a week
And
before the incident.
He's taking on 2 guys. He sounds like he's gone Looney
Well, you
Tunes.
talked about the romancing. So he's just traveling around, and these guys are at camp. They had been fishing all day, and they're making their meal for the evening. They're cooking fish that they'd caught. And they see this guy. He's kind of scraggly. He walks up to him and is like, "Oh, what's up, fellas? Help a brother out." So he sits down with them, eats a full meal, and then as soon as the meal's over, he gets up with a .22 pistol and shoots both of them. He wanted their car, basically.
Oh my God! Well, you and Gandalf with his staff, and you with your sword were not ready for a gunfight.
No, but we would. I think here's the thing. So those 2 guys survived.
Okay, so it wasn't a murderous bullet.
Right, because the ammunition was about 20 years old. Mm-hmm. So with that much time period, with a .22 bullet, it becomes very weak. So the bullets weren't as effective.
They just kind of go in and stop.
Yeah,
They don't
so
tear
both
through.
guys survived despite being shot multiple
But they
times.
can't go through the security now to get on the airplane. Do they leave the bullets inside? I hear they do that now. They just leave them in there.
Both those guys survived. The other one was able to run and get help. And after that, there was a big car chase.
Oh my
of
gosh.
him in their stolen car.
Oh my gosh.
And it ended with a big wreck. And the guy got all messed up. He got all banged up, right? And the word on the street was the cops just let him bleed out in his cell.
Oh. Well, they already tried to convict him and it didn't work.
And then he did it again.
Now it's time for mountain justice.
Yep. That's all lore.
But this is crazy. Like, this is the part where you're like, I love nature. And then it takes one wacko to just ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
One wacko.
I mean, that's everything, though.
Yeah.
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 You look at it, and statistically, it's less murder out there, but it's just the nature of it's very...
Well, I'm glad that you decided that Dismal Creek would not be a good venue.
I think we would have been fine that night anyway, but it was a good call.
You had your knife and your staff. Yeah. I don't know how to spell knife. Well, I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad Mule's okay, and I'm glad those gentlemen are okay.
Do you still keep in contact with Mule?
Yeah. Are you like the
I
god?
haven't talked to
Does
him
he
in
have
a
a
long
child,
time.
and you're the godfather?
We were good friends. We'll probably pick up right where we left off, but I hadn't talked to him in a while.
Is freestyle the name of your knife?
Yeah. Funny, the Mule was good with the knife.
Should he have had the knife and you had the staff?
I got a last Mule story, and then I'll let you...
I just real quick, the guy in Don Juan Quixote, the little friend, has a staff.
Yep.
I'm going to send you a picture of him. Mm-hmm.
One night, me and Mule camped by the road. We talked about this already. Mistake, right?
Okay.
And these rednecks pull up in a couple
are
of
they
trucks.
Hammered.
They were out late night doing some raccoon hunting or something. And they know the deal with thru hikers. They know
Do you guys...
that they're alone, that they don't have a car, that they're just traveling through, Mm-hmm. They like to mess with them sometimes. So they bright light our tents, and they start throwing beer cans at our tents, yelling stuff, like, "Come out, hippie boy. Hippie boy, come out." They think you're like a tree-hugging type person, which you kind of are.
You're kind of tall. Did you come out? And they're like, never
No, I
mind.
didn't come out because I had no idea how many is out there. I don't know if they got guns, So I'm like hiding in my tent. Just like, oh, God.
You got a pretty mouth.
How far is this going to go? And the thing about Mule is he's grew up in Long Island, spent a lot of time in the city, real rough around the edges, Italian guy.
Oh, is he going to fight them all?
That's what he decided. He comes barreling out of his tent.
I've had enough.
He had a little knife like this big, and he starts waving it, and he goes, "I'll kill all you motherfuckers."
Does he have an accent? Like a not Long Island accent?
Yeah.
I'll kill you all motherfuckers.
All you motherfuckers. And
did they have a good laugh?
that scared him enough. They left.
Okay.
He was very bold.
Bravado. Was he short and round?
He was short and stocky.
Again, this is the Don Juan Quixote character. Can you please Google Don Juan Quixote's sidekick? Mm-hmm. Thank you, darling.
Yeah. Formidable foe, for sure. And these guys, they didn't want it. They just wanted to scare us. But
it's like when you're being a jerk to people in middle school and you finally get the fat kid mad and everyone's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's even on a little mule.
Yeah, he's on a little mule. What's his name?
Sancho Panza. Wait. Sancho Panza.
Oh, Sancho.
Do you do like the little animations to the side on your podcast?
Oh. What? Oh, you mean like in post pictures?
You're like, wait
what?
Wait a minute.
Oh, we could put a picture. Do you have a picture of Mule and we can put him next to Sancho Panza?
We could probably find him on Facebook.
That might be fun. Senior
I don't want to out
producer.
Mule, though.
Oh, because, yeah, you're supposed to be like, what happens on the Appalachian Trail stays on the Appalachian Trail, is what I'm told. So you can just go be a total slut and no one can talk about it.
I kind of called him an idiot earlier, so I won't want him listening.
Oh, no. Well, he was very tough in the story you just told. So
he wasn't an idiot. He's doing very well for himself.
Yeah, good. Yeah, he's sparky and spontaneous. Let's go. All right. Let's find out what kind of nerd you are, my friend. That's a really cool story. So you would do the Appalachian Trail again?
Totally. Yeah.
How many murders do you expect to see on that one? Because the pandemic has unscrewed a lot of screws.
Yeah, it's probably only gotten worse. I've been out of the circuit for about 4 years now, so I don't know.
Oh, so that's okay. I didn't realize it's been that long since you've had your finger on the pulse of the Appalachian Trail energy.
It's funny, a friend of mine just watched this documentary about this character. His trail name was Almost Harmless, and they found him dead on the Florida Trail.
Oh,
which is another long...
The Appalachian Trail's in Florida?
Well, it's a different trail, but it connects.
Okay, that's cool.
But he brings up this
Does the Beltline know about it? Sorry.
Call it Beltline. But my friend, this was recently. This was the other day. This was Luke Bentley.
Yes, Luke Bentley.
He brings up this documentary that he watched, and he's like, Jason, you've ever heard of that guy? Did you know about that? And I told him, and this is a true story. I says, yeah, I was one of the last people to see that guy alive. And I was on a podcast for that county sheriff's department because they did this whole thing where they're trying to figure out what happened because they just found him dead in his tent, and none of it made any sense.
Fentanyl.
No. He was...
Alligator. Girlfriend.
It's still a mystery.
Oh.
Well, we'll never know.
So, y'all, okay.
And that's why they made the documentary.
This is because they want to solve the mystery.
Yeah.
This is like the creepy part about hotels. People go there to unlive themselves because they don't want to make a mess in their home.
Yeah, that's
for their loved ones. Mm-hmm. I wonder if the Appalachian Trail attracts that energy as well.
I've heard a couple of stories, yeah. I heard a story about a young lady who hung herself. But there's question there, maybe foul play.
Ugh.
But
this is very macabre.
It's not a great, sort of comedy adjacent.
I know.
Hey, this is funny. I almost killed myself in a hotel room once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I was on like a crazy bender, and I just went crazy. And I was like, I'm going to end it. But I didn't.
Oh. How many drugs were you on?
Just booze.
Oh, are you supposed to not drink booze? I gave you a bourbon when you walked in the door.
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine now.
He just wants to make the property of your house drop immensely.
Oh, this house was built in the 20s. We have a stack of dead bodies in the basement.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't. Aren't you glad you didn't?
I am.
The mom in me wants to put
nice of you.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't have brought that up on the pod.
The mother in me was, we had Matthew English on here, and he's tried to kill himself 3 times.
She makes fun of Matthew English all the time for his attempted suicide.
Yes, bless his heart. We just we're gonna keep everyone alive. It's gonna get better. It might get worse first, but it always gets better.
Oh yeah, I'm fine now.
Okay, good. Was this before you did the?
This was years ago.
In college when you weren't doing well at school and like, what am I gonna do? And then you went and walked for a long time and you felt better.
No, this was after all that, but...
What did you eat? This is a question I have. What do you eat that you can refurbish your calories when you're hiking that much? Are you doing all the gels?
A little bit of that stuff, but mostly like oatmeal, peanut butter, a lot of noodles.
None of that's like high caloried.
No.
I had a friend go on this like wilderness survival thing that people sign up for so they can feel alive inside. And they were starving, and then they brought them a lamb, and they're like, "Okay, you have to kill it to eat it, and they were all starving. They're like, kill the lamb. And luckily one of them was a chef, and he like rendered all the fat so they could eat the fat and everything. Like, wow. I don't like that kind of vacation. Not signing up for that. This walking the Appalachian Trail sounds terrifying.
Grew up on a farm?
Me?
Yeah.
I did, but we didn't eat our animals. They would just try to keep them alive.
Okay.
That was our job. Sometimes it was hard. Cat.
Yeah, the cat.
Cats. They died so much. Okay. Boop boop. Star Wars or Star Trek? Why did you laughing so hard?
Fucking transition. You're like, anyways, cats down the time. Well, you big more of a Star Trek, Star Wars man.
Yeah. What kind of whimsy are you?
I like Star Wars over Trek.
Okay.
I'll say Wars over Trek.
You watching all the new stuff?
Yeah, I dabble.
Do you have a sword that's not your knife you bought on the Appalachian Trail? Have you ever held a sword? Do your people who came down from the hills, do they have like a
legacy?
Grandpapa's sword?
No, I have my own sword.
You have your own sword?
Yeah, it's just for home defense.
That's a first.
Yeah.
And people have guns, right? What are you going to do with
Yeah.
it? Are you going to ching, ching, ching? Are you going to like lightsaber it? Ching,
I'm
ching,
not really a gun guy, but if you come in there and you don't have a gun,
okay,
you'd be in trouble.
Can I ask, pray tell, what kind of sword is it? Do you have to unsheath it?
It's a machete. It's a big machete that like curves forward. Are you familiar with the kukri design? Kukri design? I don't know how you say it.
know the designs. Is it engraved? Does it have a tassel?
Have you ever seen the movie Book of Eli?
I haven't.
With Denzel Washington.
I haven't seen that
It's
one.
the same sword from that movie.
I feel like it's going to be like a Moorish kind of African Muslim curved one. And
It curves forward. It's what they call.
oh, like you're going to hook someone by the back of the neck.
It's what they call a headhunter knife.
Okay. Do you also use it to clear tall grass?
Yeah, it's very functional. That's
Machete.
why I got it originally, was for doing trail work.
Oh.
It's very functional for like clearing.
So is there volunteers that clear the Appalachian Trail?
Yeah, it's maintained by a big, multiple different clubs of volunteers.
That's lovely. Americans working together to get something done.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That's
That's a
wonderful.
fun thing to do, is to go volunteer and do trail work.
I've done a lot of trail clearing in my day. I got to be honest, because I grew up in a riding community, and we had to go do a lot of trail clearing. And then my mom would get the bush hogs stuck and things. It was just very exciting. Okay, you have a sword. Do you have a cape? Do you have a cape?
No capes.
And do you have wings?
I'd like one.
You'd
I'd
like it? What kind of
a
cape?
More of like a cloak.
Yeah.
Like
do you
a functional cloak.
I know what to get you for Christmas.
Yeah. Like a bear skin. No.
Do you want it
That's
wool,
too bulky.
black wool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the guy who was in Baltimore and he wrote all of the poetry that was very dark in the late 1800s?
Poe.
Yeah,
Poe. Edgar Allen Poe energy.
Yeah.
Have you ever dressed as him for Halloween or anything?
No, I like Poe though. I'm a Poe. Poe for show.
Poe for show. Everyone died from tuberculosis that he loved.
TB.
Yes. And alcoholism. Okay, so you want a cloak, floor length or calf length?
Calf length, probably more functional.
Yeah.
Floor length, you just be cleaning it all the time.
You strike me as someone who has had a past life experience.
No.
I feel like you were on a train in the 1800s. I can
know what?
see
I
you
kinda
holding a
did.
pocket watch.
I kind of did have a past. So here's what happened is I spent all of COVID pretty much working on a rail yard.
Okay.
Moving unit trains in and out of like an unloading facility.
So this is very 1800s.
Very 1800s. And it's, COVID, everything going on. And I'm working night shift one night. And I'm hanging off the side of a unit train.
What's a unit train?
Just like when you see like a train go by and it's all like grain cars.
Yes.
That's what we call a unit train because it's
Okay.
like all the same thing essentially.
Okay.
So I'm hanging off the back of one, backing it up into the rail yard. And I got this lantern.
Oh my God.
And I'm and I'm thinking about my family, and I'm like, I hope my mom doesn't die of the plague. And I'm looking at myself like what I'm doing, and I'm like, how the hell is my life exactly the same as like a guy from like the 1800s? And I'm like, this is bullshit.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So
that's trippy. That's trippy.
I have had one of those. Yeah.
Have you ever been like heard footsteps and then there was nobody there?
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh.
You mean just in general or on the rail yard?
The rail yard or hiking or
No, luckily every sound.
at one of those shacks you were staying in.
It's weird when you're laying in your tent and you hear something walking. You're like, oh God, here we go. But then you're like, shh, shh, shh. Okay, it's just a deer, and then you go to sleep. But every now and then.
What sound is this that deer make? Shh, shh, shh.
Just the different types of noises.
Okay.
Like, they're just different. It'd be more like a steady, like, shh.
Oh, with their hooves because they're digging for acorns or something.
Yeah.
I just thought they were like, shh, shh. They were shushing each other. Like,
But when you hear like
you're
just
gonna
the aggressive tromp of 2 feet, like approaching your tent, that is
A predator.
startling sometimes. And you're like, that's a man. That's a
Yeah.
human, large man. And you just hear
Yeah.
coming right up to your tent. And then it's just mule. Freestyle, wake up. We got to go. You're like,
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever slept in the like downstairs of a house and like the main level was upstairs and they can just hear everyone walking and you can tell who's walking based on their steps?
yeah.
Are you a quieter walker now? Are you like more in touch with like your native origins and you're like Lightfoot is your name or?
I'm a very quiet walker, especially if I'm sharing a space with people. I consider it rude to just stomp around.
I think that should be your new trail name. Quiet Walker.
Yeah.
Quiet Walker.
Okay.
I am very loud, I'm told. And then I get said, this is what usually happens. Come on, only child. Pretend like you need to be quiet.
That makes a lot of sense.
He's like, I've been trying to put my finger on it for an hour.
I'm going to shake you. Don't shake the baby. All right. Did you ever go goth or anything like that? I think that's where we're going to put that on your vision board for your 40s.
I had some weird phases.
Did you?
Sure,
You did say you were arrested a couple of times in the high school.
Yeah.
It's always the quiet ones.
Both reckless driving.
Oh.
Just pulling stunts with my Jeep.
Were you trying to? Ooh, a Jeep. That's fancy. Were you trying to do what's that? Skidding? What's that?
Yeah.
Fading?
Yeah. Donuts,
What's
drifting.
that? Drifting.
Jumping, donuts, drifting, skidding, buffer wheel. I was doing it all. Yeah.
You do it. So can you? Because we used to be able to drift on the ice and snow in upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
How can you drift if you live in the South? You just do it on the dirt.
Yeah. Do it on dirt, gravel, whenever the road's wet.
No.
Or if your car is powerful enough, just whenever you want to. But yeah.
Was it a stick shift?
Mine, I couldn't drift in my car really, unless it was wet or on dirt.
Right. Was it all-wheel drive? Your Jeep? Can you drift in an all-wheel drive? These are important questions.
You can.
You can? Okay.
Sure.
What? So, reckless driving.
Yeah.
Were you hammered at the time?
No, that's why I was reckless driving.
Because you were bored.
Just stone sober. Just look, you know how kids are.
Or is it a small town? There's nothing else to do.
There was plenty of other stuff to do. I mean, we could have had plenty of other extracurricular activities. We were just.
Well, you like to be in the forest, so you could have just walked off into the woods and looked at the sky for a couple days.
It's funny. I heard something on the radio today. They say the frontal cortex of your brain that helps you like analyze decisions. Mm-hmm. They say that doesn't fully develop until you're like 26. Mm-hmm. So that's when you're young, you look back and like, why did I do that? It's like, oh yeah, brain no good.
Brain no good. Brain no good.
Yeah,
absolutely. And there's a lady who does science. She does scans of brains, and she talked about the development of children in a book. And she's a PhD. She works with people who are postdocs, and she can see over the time of their postdoc a change in their cognitive functioning.
Yeah.
In her own students, and then she can scan their brains and see what's happening. So it's for reals. Everyone's super dumb. And I hear if you have a wiener, it makes you even dumber for a spell.
Yeah, probably.
A lot of decisions made poorly.
That was another thing the guy said. Is like in males. Statistic, blah, 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 science. But yeah.
Have you ever hung around a 17-year-old girl and a 17-year-old boy?
Not recently, unfortunately.
Not allowed to anymore since the court order.
Yeah.
They are startlingly different. Yeah. It's shocking. One's an adult, and one you're like, are you gonna make it?
Well, society forces one to be an adult, and the other one gets to do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have boys, and one of them developed.
That's the one that gets to do whatever they want. If you didn't get that out of the.
Yeah, but we're trying. Like he hangs out with girls. I'm like, act like that. Just do like that. They can't. Okay.
All right.
Have you ever put a pet in a costume?
Negative. Never will.
Have you ever been in a play? Do you know poetry?
No.
I feel like you have a book of poetry hidden in somewhere.
If I'm being honest, I've dabbled, but not
My
a lot.
heart. Okay.
I write rap music. That's
You write
sort of poetry. That's
It's poetry for white men.
Yeah. That's what I said. First time I heard in WA, I said, that's the white man's poetry right there. That's what I said. So I said, yep.
This was written for me and no one else.
Is this Faulkner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love it, though. It's fun.
Yeah, you're kind of a Renaissance man with your lantern and working the rails and having a.
I'm just old. I've lived a lot of different things. Yeah.
Have you ever written fan fiction?
No.
Have you ever said the word huzzah?
Yes. Love that word.
Love huzzah. Been to a Ren fair? You would know.
No, I've never been. No.
Unless you were spiraling. Do you do like psychedelic drugs
I used to. I don't
and
anymore.
go into the forest?
Yeah, I used to.
Okay. Did you ever
I don't anymore.
Okay. You saw enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. You saw did you see God?
No.
Because Keegan came on, he thinks it's aliens that are telling us what to do when you take your psychedelics. Did you see aliens?
Nope.
No? Okay. Do you play a woodwind instrument? I feel like you would play the mouth organ. What's that called? A harmonica. You have harmonica vibes.
No. I like to beatbox.
You like to
That's fun.
beatbox?
You ever beatbox?
I
That's
have
why it's
not
called.
tried to
Did you not
beatbox.
put together why it was called freestyle?
Oh, were you beatboxing on the journey?
That's what we were doing. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that's what that
What
meant.
did you think? Wait, is that why you thought you liked poetry? Because you like to do freestyle poems?
I just didn't know. Okay, so you were beatboxing.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Do you play a fiddle,
Play a fiddle?
Yes.
Do I? I do not. No.
a banjo,
Nope.
the spoons,
Negative.
an upside down bucket
I
with
play
the
the
drumsticks?
jaw harp.
What's okay? You buried the lead. What's a jaw harp?
You ever hear like a bluegrass song and you hear that sound that goes like
Boing,
doing, doing,
boing,
doing? That's what that is.
I think I'm psychic. I knew there was some weird instrument in your past. Do you have like a real?
Love a good jug band.
Do you have a pair of suspenders?
Not yet, but I'm getting very fat and I think I'm gonna have to look into it.
You're gonna look into it. Do you have a pair of wool pants?
Yes.
Do you have a pair of wool pants, Joel?
No.
Yeah.
You're just trying. You just found out he's from the mountains. You're just trying to literally paint him as just like an Appalachian hillbilly right now.
No,
That's
it's
all
not
you're
even
trying to
that.
do.
It's deeper than that. I think you're a time traveler.
What the?
No, this is a time traveler.
No.
Yeah, your cadence, your thoughtfulness, your ability to be alone for hours on end, walking in the wilderness. You know how trains work. You have to be a time traveler to know how trains work. You don't have a watch for how long on the trail?
Yeah, about 2 months.
2 months without a watch, Joel.
I don't have a
This is
watch.
a fucking time traveler.
You know that some people just don't like living in cities, right? This isn't like a wild thing.
I come from country people. My mother hates the city. But she has a watch and she has a pill box with all of her pills. Have you ever were you born with a full mustache and beard?
No, I had to work on that one.
So you're by the time you're 7.
Yep.
Okay. Do you are you like, I need to just put some beans in a pot and cook them for a long time?
I do that.
That's just how you cook beans, though. Yeah. That's just on a low simmer.
I've never cooked beans.
You've never cooked a lot of things. You have a personal chef.
Really?
They come in the
Yes, she
can
does.
already cooked.
This is the thing, because you're like, man, she's out of touch. Well, certain things.
That's okay. We all live different lives.
Okay. Are you gonna when you get married someday? Are you gonna be outside? Is it an outdoor wedding?
I don't know. That'll probably
In
be
the mountains, in a meadow,
if
in a
that
clearing.
happens, but
Do you have any love interests, or is that too personal?
not really. I'm kind of married to the game, as they say.
Well, now which game? Moving around train cars,
I don't
or
know.
comedy,
I
or
don't know.
carpentry?
I don't know what game.
With your Jesus vibes. Yeah. Married to the game. Poetry, beatboxing, rap music for white. Have you tried? Do you do oh, it's so fun. Have you tried bluegrass music?
I used to listen to bluegrass, not so much lately. I'm
It's not jamming for you?
Nuh-uh.
Not enough N-words in it?
I think those wagon wheel fuckers ruined it for everybody. Anyway.
What, the wagon wheel? That song with the wagon wheel?
Yeah, we don't got to get into it.
Okay. All right.
The listeners will know what I'm talking about.
I think I've heard it sung at my children's camp. Like
Yeah.
they took it and changed the words to mean their camp.
Yep.
Like a wagon, like
Mm-hmm.
that one. So I won't sing it to you because I can tell you're getting frisky already. Do you have a cat?
Nope, no pets.
No.
I had a cat growing up. Loved that cat.
Oh, that's sweet. I feel like you would have a moose for a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know they get drunk on apples.
Really?
Yeah, fermented apples. There'll be drunk moose walking around.
I
in it.
saw one up close one time
You saw-
on the trail. They're very intimidating.
They will stampede you.
Yeah, they're huge.
Stampede. My husband ran into one when he was in Alaska going for an outdoor run, and the moose and he were both coming on a corner at the same time, and he and the moose went like both are like a cartoon, and then ran the other way.
Yeah, apparently the males get very aggressive in the mating season.
And the females when its cubs are around. Yeah. You got to watch out for mice. I don't know the plural. Mooses? All right, dude.
It's just moose.
We've done an hour, and you are a fun, interesting person. And usually I say what kind of nerd people are, but I've already established you're a time traveler. And I think you were friends with Edgar Allen Poe. Huck Finn? No. Who's Mark Twain? Have you read Mark Twain?
Dabbled.
Whitman. Were you gay?
Love Walt Whitman.
Walt Whitman.
Leaves of Grass.
Did you love it?
I liked it.
Did you make a rap about it?
Yeah. Leaves of Grass bars. You ever hear that? There's that one poem that people lifted off of him. They use it for like Subaru commercials and stuff.
Oh, rude.
And it's that line that a path diverges in the woods, and I took the one less traveled.
Yes.
You ever hear that?
Yes, I have.
And they use it for like to try to be like, we're unique, we're trailblazers.
We have all-wheel drive, and you
We're
can go into the
groundbreaking.
forest. Yes.
And that's what people co-opt it for all the time.
But really, it means don't put your camp next to the road because the rednecks are
Right.
going to come fuck with you.
Yeah.
It's a guide for the Appalachian Trail.
But they did some research and went back with some correspondences that he had with another poet. And actually what the poem is about is how when people talk about their past and the things that they've done, they always put it in the light of like where they did something unique and special, when the truth is, nobody's really that special.
Oh, yeah. Well, really, we're just a bunch of ants on a blip of time.
But it's not what it's about at all. That's what, I don't know why I brought that up for the end
Yeah,
of the
it wasn't.
pod,
It sounds like he's just reflecting on human
ego,
and not a suggestion for life.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what
Although
it's about.
taking that suggestion saved your life. Go up into the woods. Don't put your tent near the road. because people are the most dangerous thing out there.
Yeah.
That and
also the most dangerous
tuberculosis.
game.
People are the most dangerous game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, friend. Tell people where they. I don't know what that meant. what does that mean? Is that a game on Netflix I haven't watched?
That's a book about hunting humans.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't read that one. Tell people where they can find you. Are you on your new Instagram account?
You can find me on Instagram at Jason Hulsey Comedy. Weekend regular work at the Laughing Skull Lounge. Come see us over there, and
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
Yeah, you're very funny.
Thank you.
I enjoy your comedy very much, and thank you for coming and being on our show. You see, let's have a hug.
It's been fun.
Let me bad touch you. Like only child all over you.